a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
I'm Christina Kahn.
And I'm Leela Hilton.
And this is Burn Before Reading, the podcast about shiterature.
Here we are again to talk about the terrible writing we did when we were younger and touch on some other cringy literary topics right along the way.
With us today are two very special guests here to celebrate a very exciting occurrence. We have with us today author George M. Johnson. Say hello to the listeners, George.
Hello, everyone.
And what are your pronouns, please?
They, them, but I go by all pronouns.
Okay, great. We love that. As well as Leah Johnson. Say hello to the listeners, Leah.
Hi, y'all.
And what are your pronouns?
She, her.
Amazing. Thank you so much to the two of you for being on the show. We are just so honored and excited. You're two really cool authors that I enjoy reading, and I'm not fangirling. I'm being so cool and professional. But yeah, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, absolutely.
Y'all are celebrating the one-day birthday of your brand new book.
Well, yes. Well, yes.
Oh my God, congratulations. Your new book, There's Always Next Year. And the cover is just so, I feel like if you didn't know it was about New Year's, you could look at the cover and be like, that's about New Year's.
Yeah, exactly.
So congratulations. Tell the listeners a little bit about your book.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's so strange to be existing in the past and the future simultaneously. So we are not presently authors of this book that's in the world. Yeah, so There's Always Next Year. I mean, we haven't even nailed this pitch down because we're still so far in the part of the press run where we haven't been pitching it all the time. But by the time you all hear this podcast, it's going to be really refined. Okay, so just know that. There's Always Next Year is about two cousins named Andy and Dominique who have both made these huge mistakes on New Year's Eve and have to spend all of New Year's Day sort of rectifying those mistakes. That's the quick pitch.
I love it. I'm so excited. Anything to add, George?
Yeah. Ultimately, it is a story about family, a story about community. I think it's a story about how you don't let bad moments in a day turn into a completely bad day. And I think it just kind of talks about how so many things are happening simultaneously in the world. I think sometimes we live life kind of linear, and I think the book kind of shows how I was recently watching a TikTok, and essentially someone said their mom had died or their dad had died, and they were at the house, and they were but everybody outside of the house, was just cutting their grass and driving their car normal. And it was no, my father just why is everybody not sad? And it's because everybody else's day still goes on, even when you're having calamity going on in your own day. And so I think the book ultimately gets to the heart of that and finding the best versions of your inner self.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love that. I actually experienced that a little bit myself of other people are doing other things when I was reading the official synopsis of y'all's book, because it's talking about Andy having a crush on this person. And then when it starts talking about the second main character, I was oh, this must be the crush. This must be like a romance story. But then I kept reading and I was oh no, this is about two different people having two different experiences. Yeah. This is not a love story. So I find that really exciting. Your two main characters are cousins. I think that's such a cool relationship. I think that Leela and I both have been lucky to be tight with a lot of our cousins. I think they're some of your first friends, but because your siblings, yeah, that's different. But cousins, those are more can be more friends because there's a little bit of that separation. So I'm really excited to read your book, and congratulations again.
Thank
Thank you.
Also, I should clarify that it is a dual POV double love story. So Andy has one love story and Dominique has another love story, but they're sort of interwoven over the course of the day.
I love that. For those for whom one love story is not enough.
Right.
Read There's Always Next Year.
More love.
Yes.
Exactly.
George, do you want to tell us a little bit about like your career, what you're doing, what you're known for? I'll say that I learned about you from reading All Boys Aren't Blue, which I think is probably, I mean, at least from my perspective, your like best known work.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, I mean, primarily an author. I do dibble and dabble in television and film now, as I've had a couple of like film projects, either currently working on or that have been in the world. But yeah, primarily I have been writing nonfiction books over the last 5 years with All Boys Aren't Blue, my second memoir, We Are Not Broken, which talked about my grandmother raising me and my cousins, and then Flamboyance, which talked about the Harlem Renaissance. So I've been in the nonfiction space a lot in young adult, which isn't a space that's like fully become actualized yet. So I love, writing about history and writing about like real things that have happened to me as a memoirist, as they would say. Outside of that, though, this is my first time writing fiction. And so, but I feel like in all of the writing that I've done, I've still been a storyteller. And so even though fiction was a transition, I think the biggest difference for fiction was I got to kind of play around with the characters and play around with the world in a way that nonfiction, it's like, these were who these people were, and I can critique these people and I can analyze these people, but I can't change how the story happened or how I remembered the story for my own benefit. And so, now in writing There's Always Next Year, I get to choose different outcomes, and I get to, like, maybe something I would have did, I make sure that my character doesn't do. But then there are times where there's things that I wouldn't do, and I make sure that the character does it. And so I actually get to play a little bit more. And then I think even better than that is like the world building. You get to kind of craft a bunch of like auxiliary characters who could be based off of friends in real life. So it's like, I always feel like being someone who writes nonfiction and memoir, like, it helps with the fiction writing because I'm still able to actually pull from so much of what has actually happened in my life to build out certain characters and archetypes.
That's awesome. That's so cool. And so, Leah, you've spent more time in fiction. I read your book, You Should See Me in a Crown, which I really loved. Do you want to talk a little bit about your work and your kind of career trajectory? It sounds more boring than it is.
Yeah. So I put my first book out in 2020. It was called You Should See Me in a Crown. And it was about a Black queer girl growing up in small town Indiana whose biggest dream is to get out of her hometown and go to college. But that plan falls through when her scholarship falls through. And so she has to run for prom queen for the scholarship that's attached to the crown, which would be difficult enough for a wallflower like her. But it's made more difficult by the fact that she falls in love with her competition for queen. And so it was in a lot of ways, like it was a sort of vehicle for me to imagine a possible future for myself. I think, like at the time I wasn't out, so to speak, and I hadn't really even embraced my queerness even to myself because I wasn't entirely convinced that it was possible for me to be all the things that I am, Black, queer, a woman from the Midwest, from a rural adjacent community, and still have a happy ending in the end, still be able to fall in love. And so I was writing this book as a sort of wish fulfillment, but also as a blueprint for a possible future. And I think that's what all of my fiction has sort of attempted to do, is imagine futures in which like kids like the one that I was get to have a full, fulfilling, gay ass life. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like so much of the books that I grew up with reflected an experience that I wasn't having at all, And so I've always loved romance. I've always loved a love story, but I wanted love stories that felt real and like connected more earnestly to the world that I lived in. And so There's Always Next Year is the first time I think in any of my novels that I've been able to write like primarily characters of color that not only are at the center of the story but populate all the different corners of the town. You know, like this is a very diverse town, and the white folks who are there are the minority, and they're the infiltrators in some ways. And so, you know, there's always next year's it's a love story that builds on the sort of things that I've been doing in fiction, but also is expansive in a way that I think is only possible when you collaborate with somebody else who brings like such different experiences and, you know, such a different perspective to the text. Like George is also sort of from a small town like me, but, you know, they're from New Jersey, which is a different experience than small town Indiana. And, you know, George was very close to, like, has a very matriarchal lineage, and so we get to see that come into the text in a way that like my books have not always done. And so yeah, that's the career trajectory so far, and I'm so excited to see it, like, you know, come together with this book.
Amazing. Congrats to both of you on all your success so far and all that is to come. Random, I meant to say this earlier. George, do you know that Leela and I are based in Richmond, Virginia?
No. What part of Richmond?
Like, well, I live in the museum district. Leela lives in Lakeside, but
Okay.
I read your book just because it was on the banned book list, and that's like a hobby I have, is being, I want to know what they're trying to ban out here.
Yeah.
And so I was like reading it, I was like, they're down here in Richmond. Like, I know all these places.
That's awesome.
I loved that.
Yeah. I'm frequently in Richmond because homecoming and like I pledged in Richmond. So I still have a lot of ties to Richmond and family that lives in Richmond too. So yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, and you went to VUU.
VUU, yes.
VUU. Is that the first time you like came to Virginia? Before that, you were in Jersey?
So my family on my grandfather's side is from Lunenburg and Mecklenburg, Virginia. So I had been traveling to Virginia when I was young, but my grandmother lived in Williamsburg, Virginia, was born in 1928 in Williamsburg, Virginia. And so we used to come down there multiple times a year. And my father was actually like the first black baby born at Williamsburg Hospital because it was a segregated hospital in 1950. And yeah, she had an emergency, and the white doctor actually was like, didn't turn her away, but they put her like in this wing all the way, like in a whole separate part of the hospital, so that the white women didn't know that there was a black woman in the hospital having a child.
Oh my God.
But yeah, like I have a lot of history in Virginia, tying back to, I mean, you know, just being honest, tying back to enslavement. That's where my family's lineage actually started, was in Virginia. So going to school down there just made sense because I had always been traveling to Virginia my whole life.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And Richmond's a great place to be these days. So
it's very nice. Yes, it is definitely not the Richmond of 03 when I moved there.
yeah, true. That is, I know that's so true. People are always saying that to me because I only moved here, you know, like 8 years ago or something. But anyway, not interesting to anyone if you haven't lived in Richmond.
We do so much Richmond talk already on this podcast. Everyone's so sick of us.
We love it here, okay? Leela, do you want to kind of get us in BBR mode with our little intro?
Since we've got new guests, I think I'll ask you first, Christina, what has been cringing you out this week?
The answer is nothing, really. I mean, you know, gestures at politics, seasonal depression, like tripping and falling down. Nothing crazy has happened, but so I'll tell, like, this isn't even that cringe, but I'll do a throwback cringe. It's one of those like embarrassing memories that stands out to me for like 20 years later, even though it's like so not a big deal. But my father is like kind of like a business doofus. You know what I mean when I say that. He's like not a man of practical skills, right?
Okay.
He's like computer and phone boy. And one time, me and my uncle were helping my aunt move into her new house. My uncle Bobby, who recently passed away. And he is like an electrician and handyman. He's a man of labor, right? Like he can do stuff. And we were moving my aunt into her new house, and he was like, "Christina, look at the stove here. This is a really good stove. When you finally get a house, you got to get a stove like this with like the, you know, whatever, and like the fucking hood, whatever," he said. And I like didn't care, and I didn't know what to do, and I was like 13, so I was like, Uncle Bobby, my daddy will make sure I have the best stove out there. I don't know why I said that. I just didn't care. And he looked me dead in the eyes and was like, your dad doesn't know a goddamn thing about houses. And I was like, oh. And for some reason that embarrassed me so much.
No, because I'm embarrassed. Like, how dare my dad not be blue collar?
Yeah.
He can't do anything. He was forbidden from using our lawnmower. Only my brother could use it. He was such a such a doofus. Anyway, that's like not even that cringe, but it like something about it. I was like, oh, I said
cringe
something
enough.
stupid.
It's cringe enough. That'll do.
Cringe enough. Leah, what is cringing you out lately?
Let me ask you this. Are we thinking something I did in the past that was cringy?
You can do you can do something that's been stressing you out. You can do something that you witnessed, something that your partner do. I love when my partner does something dumb. I can use as my cringe. You can do an old memory, like whatever. Really loose with the word cringe
Very
here.
much.
Perfect. I'm actually going to do 2.
Ooh.
So one, this is not even cringe. I think this is so endearing and hilarious, but this is something that my partner did recently that was so funny. I can't even remember the context. Like, somebody put something in our group chat. So like me and my best friend and my partner and her best friend are in a group chat together, and somebody had dropped something in there that was like, I don't know, like it was something embarrassing about somebody else. And so my partner replied and said, ooh, 2 homicides. But what she meant to say was, ooh, double homicide, because it was like doubly embarrassing. But she's dyslexic and has like what is it? So there's something about recall where sometimes she'll recall the wrong word instead
like word
of the thing she
issues,
and so ooh,
very
2
cute.
homicide was so funny to me and so endearing.
That is really cute. My best friend has Emily has word retrieval issues too, and whenever she just like really confidently says the wrong word, I'm like, yeah, honey, you got it.
Right, exactly.
That's funny.
And I was like, LOL, girl, you killed it. And she came back later and was like, oh my God, that wasn't what I meant to say. Why didn't anybody correct me? We said,
Too
we
late.
love you, our dyslexic queen. We knew exactly what you were trying to say. So that's my funny one. My slightly more serious one is the children yearn for a text-based social media. Okay. And so I gave up Twitter/X a long time ago.
Congratulations.
I like typing my little quips on the internet, like
Yes.
sue me. And so now I'm on
that trouble
Threads.
too.
And I was on Threads recently, and there was this thing that cropped up in publishing. Like, an author did something embarrassing, and like, if you're following anything on Threads, then you probably saw it. This author responded to somebody's criticism of their book, and everybody sort of just like jumped on them. Which, like, whatever.
Once you start responding to criticism, it's a slippery slope. you know?
Don't get me started. But the thing is, so everybody had responded to it, whatever. And it just devolved into this conversation about like cancel culture and who deserves what and what, you know, who gets forgiveness and who doesn't. And it's so embarrassing to me when somebody has done something wrong or like fucked up and 7 million people decide that they need to respond to it. Girl, it's never that serious. Like, she could have gotten her licks and we could have been done with it. But instead, everybody tries to pile on because they all want to get that engagement. And I think it's cringy that y'all want engagement. Like, y'all are so hungry for a repost and a like and a whatever that you know that somebody's already said the exact same thing that you're about to say. But you gotta jump in there because you see there's an opportunity to get some clicks. Sit down, log off, get a life.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I've deleted most social media from my phone, and it has it's like my brain is free now, you know? I still got Instagram because BBR's got a little Instagram presence, but for myself, I'm out of here. Leela, what is cringing you out lately? I have to enunciate. We got Leah and Leela.
I know. Okay, so I'm trying to think. I have got a couple. So today,
Leela and I are never prepared for the
we're never
the daily
prepared. It's our
cringe.
show. So,
But so much cringe happens to us. We need to start writing it down.
It also doesn't help that like we see each other like so much, like so
True.
frequently that like we all already both know what each other's cringes are. So we're just like, what?
Well, and it also really hurts the cringe that ever since you started working out, you don't fall down and hurt yourself as much.
I know,
Because that
my
used to be
balance is
all
better.
your cringes.
I know, it's so true. Curse my balance. So let me think here. Okay, so I had an Aldi pickup today. This is so stupid compared to what everybody else has said. It's
Lay
fine.
it on us, girl. If it's that dumb, make it short.
Okay, you know I will, maybe. So I had an Aldi pickup today. It was like a big pickup, like a big grocery thing. And my husband, I work from home. My husband was like gonna pick it up on his way home from work. And he like went, and I did the things that I said he was there. And then he got groceries and drove away. And then I got like 3 missed calls from Aldi. And I was like not answering because I mean, I don't answer calls from people I don't know. And then I saw the voicemail and they were like, it says you're here, but we can't find you to give you your groceries. And I was like, Jason, I called Jason. I was like, you said you picked up our groceries, right? And he was like, yeah, I got them. I'm like almost home now. It was like 30 minutes from our house. And I was like, I don't think you do. And he was like, wait, was it a big grocery order? I was like, yes. And he was like, oh, it was only like 2 bags. I was like, 100% you just took someone else's groceries. 100%.
Damn, that sucks.
So he had to turn all the way around and drive like 30 minutes back out to pick up our
It
grocery
is not
order.
What, did you go to the one in the city?
The one in Forest Hill.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
that is kind of
that's kind of far.
So it was okay. The sweet manager at Aldi was so apologetic and nice, and like, I'm not a Karen, like I'm not going to be like, really, I'm demanding this. But even without saying that, like, she gave us a gift card. But so, you know, just like all of my cringes, as I talk myself through it, I guess it wasn't that cringy after all. But
a happy ending.
Yeah, but just I feel bad for Jason that he had to go back after he already had a tough, grumpy day at work. So
it's okay. At least he gets to eat dinner afterwards.
You know, things could be worse. So,
all right. Last but not least, George, what has been cringing you out lately?
I think the main thing that's like kind of cringing me out is like I recently saw like Pharrell's statements on DEI, and I'm just finding it very cringy that there are particular people within Black elitism who really act like they weren't beneficiaries of DEI once they have gotten their wealth. And it's like clearly like Pharrell, you could dress, but you were not chosen as the head of Louis Vuitton because you had went to FIT and did all of the years of training and knew how to sew and knew how to do all of these things and knew how to. So clearly you at some point were a DEI hire yourself. And, you know, so to like kind of like pretend that you got it off of some other merit other than the fact that you were Pharrell. Because if you weren't this huge producer of the music industry, then you would have never been on Louis Vuitton's radar, right? Like, so
literally
part of that to me is very cringy when people who are beneficiaries of diversity, equity, and inclusion attack diversity, equity, and inclusion. And then I use that to go also into Marjorie Taylor Greene, another beneficiary of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and her whole switch up. And watching Democrats not play it right, like it's kind of cringy me to kind of watch them.
The Democrats can't play anything right.
Yeah, like to kind of watch them.
They're really fucking everything up.
Can't play bocce ball right.
Make statements like, "Oh, this is the big tent." That it's like, no, like your goal should never be like to bring this type of person closer to your party. Your goal should be to use them as the person that implodes the other party. Like there's a way that with nuance that you can do that, to use her as an asset with also understanding that she has no business belonging in your party because her politics are still her politics and the things she said are still the things she said and the people she attacked are still the people she attacked. And you don't now get like a get out of jail free card because the diversity, equity, inclusion that you benefited from, which she did, you are now realizing that your own party hates women, but used you as the main fundraising vehicle because you were one of their highest fundraisers, right? Until it didn't work, and now you're at odds with your own party because now you realize they have always hated you and you were part of the DEI plan for them.
That's a classic, like,
so that
pulling the
cringes me
ladder
out.
up, you know? Like, pulling the ladder up behind you. Isn't Pharrell from,
Virginia.
like, Norfolk?
Yeah.
He's Virginia
He's from
Beach.
Portsmouth,
He's from
I
Portsmouth,
think. Yeah.
from South Virginia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then,
I knew
yeah,
it was
so,
one of the Hampton Roads.
So yeah, those are the type of things that are cringing me out.
That is
Can I say though,
really cringy,
really
yes.
quick, that I went to a conference this weekend, and it was like a diversity equity conference, and the man who was giving the keynote got up there and he was hooting and hollering and whatever. It was all very performative, but at some point in his speech he said, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican, it's two wings on the same bird. Okay. I'm embarrassed. This is embarrassing for you. Obviously.
That's a dumb fucking thing to say.
Right. That's so stupid.
There's a scientific concept, I forget what it's called, but it's about being, like, equal but opposite, like the way
Yes.
your hands are, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like they are not the same.
Yeah, like
They're
this
inherently
idea, these
opposite, even though they're, like, balanced.
false equivalencies are so exhausting to me. And that, like, Pharrell said something recently that really pissed me off about, like, I just don't believe in political parties because
I saw
whatever
that.
side you are on, it embraces divisiveness. What are you
It sounds
talking
so
about,
privileged,
Pharrell?
man.
And it's like when they make
Frickin'
those
billionaire.
statements, you can tell that they're really proud of themselves. You're like, I thought this up and I wrote this down, and like this is gonna be like a big hashtag on Twitter or whatever
Stupid.
on X now.
Yeah, I used to
Like,
think I was really evolved for saying I didn't like politics when I was like a 13-year-old, like upper middle class white girl. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
Yeah,
you
but
can
you
do
grew.
that when you're just like safe and good.
Yeah, I think when you get to a certain amount of privilege and fame, there's a lot that gets to your head. Like, I think there was a long time, maybe not a long time, but there was a while where like Pharrell was like super cool and down to earth and like gave back to his hometown and all this stuff. But yeah, I think that he
That
just
era
thinks
has
he's the bee's knees now. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the bee's knees. Well, there's not an elegant transition into our piece for the day, so let's just go. I'm going to share my screen so that I can share today's piece.
Before we get into this, let me say this. I was unaware of the premise of this podcast when I sent this piece in. Okay. So,
Oh no, is it dear to you?
if I had known what the premise of the podcast was, I would have sent you a throwaway, like, bullshit piece of fiction that I wrote in the second grade. But instead, this actually does hold a special place in my heart. So, yeah. Also, George, I have a bone to pick with you too, because the fact that we're gonna have to sit up on here insulting me,
Well,
and we don't have a
had
piece
I
from
known,
you.
no, but see, this is what's so funny. Had I known, I would have sent the first article I ever wrote. But I didn't. When we got the information, I thought it was like it had to be something from childhood. But I was a journalist for many
Right.
years and wrote many bad articles in the beginning before I became this great journalist. I would have sent one of those first pieces from 2014. That was pretty
Y'all
terrible.
almost got a right. I was gonna say you almost got a piece
I
from
could've sent-
from my high
I
school
could've-
paper.
Literally, yeah. Whereas I could have
Okay,
sent
well-
stuff from my first sets of terrible writing when I was a baby journalist.
Y'all are
that
both
could have easily been
super
read.
invited to come back, okay?
Okay.
You can come back and we can do that. I think this looks really cute and earnest, and we're going to read it and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, we won't be. I promise. Like we said roast, but like we're like it's like two bunny rabbits like insulting their chipmunk friend. Like we're not going to be mean. I promise.
Let me.
Oh my gosh!
Isn't it so cute? Because
Yeah.
well, Leela, do you want to describe what we're looking at right now?
Okay, I am looking at a like a Xeroxed like loose leaf paper. It looks like it was written in pencil.
For sure.
And
You can see eraser
like,
marks.
heavily like edited and like erased and then like yeah. But I don't want to give too much away.
For sure. It's just very cute and wholesome to look at, to behold. So, Leah, I don't know if you were informed, but we're going to ask you to read this too.
Yeah, I might not make it to pub day. Unfortunately. Okay, so This is an essay called "The Me I'd Like Others to See." I wrote this when I was in 4th grade.
So cute.
Okay. "The Me I'd Like Others to See" by Leah Johnson.
Oh, can I butt in? Sorry, just really quick. One thing that we would
Yes,
love
thank you,
is
Leila.
if there are misspelled words, if you could just try to read it as is.
Yes.
Just try to read
Try
them
to
as
commit
is at your
to its
the very
original,
best.
the original vision.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. I had just discovered a thesaurus in this, by the way.
Oh, I remember when I got my first thesaurus. It was big for me. I totally could relate.
Okay. All right. I'm a very interesting person! Exclamation point. So now I'm going to tell you what makes me so arousing. Ooh. My interests are researching on World War II, writing, and law. I have some pretty weird interests, don't you think? Well, I admit I'm a very
Pretty,
weird person.
Advanced.
Now, I promised I would tell you what makes me so interesting. So, ... I didn't realize that an ellipses had only 3 dots. No problem.
More tension.
The reason I like researching World War II is because I realize, in a way, the world now is somewhat similar to it. Radical, very radical. I'm interested in law and writing. Law because I figure everyone is entitled, with an I, to justice, and I could help do that. Writing because it helps me express my feelings while putting or making up someone and setting them in my place. Empathy. One of my other interests are riding bicycles, mainly because whenever I ride, I usually go with my brother because I have to borrow his bike and he's very protective of his things. I also ride for exercise, fun, and for the heck of it. She was cussing. You already know a lot about me, but maybe you should know more. These are the words I think describe me. Couch potato, with an E at the end, that's incorrect, because I'm a lazy bum. Ooh, self-hate. I think I'm a cool because that's just my nature, period. Last but not least, I'm a caring, sensitive person. One thing I'd like everyone to know is my family is the most important thing to me. They're always there for me in whatever I do. I love them. Well, I think I've done a good job letting you explore me, so to speak. Ooh, this is what this is what I am. This is who I am. This is me.
Wow.
I love it.
Snaps for 4th grade, Leah.
Right. I love it.
I love this. Okay, first off, I'm really glad you explained why you were interested in World War II. Because whenever somebody says they're really interested in World War II, you gotta be like, why?
Right.
What is it about World War II that is getting your attention?
The real gag here is that what I was trying to get at was it was 2004, and I was in 4th grade, and so it was only a couple years after 9/11. We were still a nation in turmoil.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
she's very tapped in politically at this age. You know, she's sensing there's a divisiveness. Her neighbors are being mistreated. You see what I'm saying? And so Leah was she was on that political shit. Nobody else was on that in her class.
I mean, I believe you because when I was in 4th grade, I was like, butterflies? Like, I was not out here being like, oh my God, the course of history is like a cycle and I can learn from my past.
And I may look, like I said, I may look young, but the reason it was harder for my mother to try and find a piece is because I was a sophomore in college in 2004. So.
Yeah. And you know, Leela and I are somewhere in between.
People forget my age. I just turned 40. So,
congrats.
Yes. But it's like when I was looking at the date, I'm like, 04, where was I in 04? I was like, I was at Virginia Union.
Yeah.
That is so wild to me.
About to be a sophomore in college. So it's like.
I think about this all the time. Like when we first started working together, I don't know. The gap between us didn't seem that far to me because I think in adulthood, 10 years is not that big of a deal. But in childhood, the difference between fourth grade and a sophomore in college.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
If he wasn't your cousin, you would not have been allowed to be friends with him. Like,
Right.
Right. But yeah, that's why when I saw it, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I was a sophomore during it. Like, that's probably why my mother, now mind you, she definitely has some old writings of mine, but I'm like, it's like she said, she was like, I'm gonna have to look through the storage to find that. I was like, right, because I'm 40.
Yeah,
and the writing that you find would be 33 or 34 years old. So like
it needs to be preserved in a library.
Right,
yeah,
right.
I just went to my mom's house and walked up to my old bedroom.
Like you said, walked into the bedroom,
closet.
went through the closet, and it was like, oh, here we go. It's like, for me, it's
wow.
like, yeah.
That means your mom hasn't moved, right?
No, yeah.
Neither has
Wow.
mine. Yeah, neither have my parents. They're in the same house I grew up in.
That is really special.
Yeah.
Both my parents ran. They're gone. They are not in that house anymore. You know, divorce will do
Right.
that to you. But yeah, I love having the scan of this hard copy. It's like so cute. And for the record, you are like definitely not the youngest person ever on this podcast. There's been a couple of people that Leela and I like forget that they're like much younger than us, and then we hop on and they give us a date and we're like, ah!
And we're like, don't react. Don't react.
We always do. We always react. Okay, so let's take it from the top. Very interesting person. So now I'm going to tell you what makes me so arousing. Arousing.
And you see, like, you all can't see who are listening, but
Unless
I
you're a
circled the misspelled
$15
words.
patron.
Right, except for the patrons. But I circled the misspelled words because I believe in revision. She was a reviser.
Clearly, you were ready to be an author, because I feel like a lot of debut authors, I've worked in publishing for a long time, I think a lot of debut authors don't know like how much writing comes after you wrote the damn thing. Mm-hmm. And so you've been ready your whole life, you know?
Yeah, you know, like, I'm sure we'll get to this, but like, the thing about this that was so interesting to me, why I decided to go ahead and send it in, is because this really and truly is a reflection of who I am now. Like, this girl in fourth grade, what is that line from Euphoria? Cassie knew who she was from a very young age. Yeah. That's me. I'm like, oh yeah, this is, I still feel this way. I know this girl.
I love that. I love that so much. So it's many years later. Do you remember why you chose the word arousing? Was that from your thesaurus?
It's from the thesaurus, because you
Surely.
can see that there was another word underneath it, and I erased it.
Oh, it
and
said
then wrote
interesting
arousing on top.
again. It's. I believe that it said interesting under there, and you're like, I'm not going to repeat interesting. I'm
I had
going
to punch
come
it
up
up
with a better word. Yeah. And
Yeah,
Exactly.
take
I
it up a
support
notch.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that's very innocent and sweet.
Never. Yeah. And what else could arousing possibly mean? I'm interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
My interests are
compelling.
researching on World War II, writing, and law. Like, okay, Leela, name your 3 interests when you were in 4th grade, 9 years old. Name
God.
3 of your interests. George, I want to hear from you too. What were 3 interests you had when you were 9 years old?
Okay, when I was in 4th grade, I was starting to get into songwriting, but it was like really embarrassing songs because, as we discussed, 9/11 had only
podcast.
just happened. So,
Yeah.
you
Me
know,
and Leela
and it also
had
was
a
the whole
9/11
podcast.
episode where we both had songs we wrote about 9/11.
We shared our original 9/11 songs. They're really
great.
bad.
Okay, Leela, what's your second
and
interest?
You said 2 others? Oh God. Okay. In sync.
Okay, yes.
Boys.
Okay, perfect. George, what about you? 3 interests when you were 9 years old.
It would have been math for certain, because I was a math brain. The stock market.
Oh my God.
And
He's They're joking. You're joking.
We actually had I was in Gifted and Talented, and we actually there was actually a program across the state where they would put you in a group on a team and you would pick stocks each week. And based on how they rose or didn't, they then had like a whole, it was a competition of which group in the Gifted and Talented programs across the state could pick and read the stock market. And so every week we would have to read the newspaper in the stock market and pick certain stocks to see if they would rise or fall.
You did a fantasy stock league.
Yeah, when we were in
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
for us to
That is
understand.
so insane.
Yeah, because like in the G&T program, they wanted us to understand like how the stock market worked in business and like like literally we were learning about all of that. And then the third thing would be history because I read a lot of.
Okay.
I read a lot of
I
history.
think we're
and
out of our
wrote-
element, Tina.
I read a lot of history, but like in the fourth grade, I believe that was in Miss Pavix, is when I wrote like my first paper about Malcolm X. So I was always very, very interested in like just historical, just history, just like nonfiction and history. I was always super interested in it. So yeah.
So, George, you did not help me prove my point at all.
we're built a little
but
different, I think.
we are clearly out of. You guys are obviously very, very good intellectual team together. Because my three were going to be writing, Boy Meets World, and boys.
Yeah.
I
was the captain.
I loved, for the
I was the
record,
captain of my math team in the fourth grade. So like they had like a math bowl for the city, and I was the captain of our math team. So like, yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's
yeah.
So, Leela, what the fuck were we doing?
Yeah, George is sort of in a league all on their own. I also wasn't
very.
I wasn't on that.
I was gonna say, at least Leah has bike riding.
I'm riding bikes. George is playing the stock market.
Yeah. My mom talks
George is
about
on the
it.
NASDAQ.
Yeah, my mom talks about it though. Like my great uncle Rem, may he rest in peace. He taught me about the penny stocks when I graduated high school. I used to go over there weekly, and he would show me how to do penny stocks on the stock market. Because he was like, everybody thinks the stock market is if you got a lot of money, but even if you only got a little bit of money, they have these stocks that are only like a couple of pennies that you can also purchase, and they go up and down. And like literally, that was like my thing was math and money in the economy.
Damn.
But yeah, my bachelor's
so
degree is in
cool.
finance, so yeah.
Wow.
I have two follow-ups to that. One, George, can you come fix my life and show me about the stock market? Why are you laughing? And then two, around this time, I was finally diagnosed with ADHD and dyscalculia, which is
she can't say
like dyslexia
because of the ADHD
but
and dyslexia.
it's like with numbers. And I'm so bad at math. So I feel like I wouldn't have been cool enough.
Yeah, me and
your
Leela
friend.
were on team crying over math homework every day.
Oh yes, when your mom is just there, like just
If
yelling
Johnny
at you,
had
kind of
3
like
apples.
I don't know.
Right.
My mom was like, I also don't remember how to do this stuff. I can't help you. Oh my God. Okay, so
God.
Leah, you are also interested in law because I figure everyone is entitled to justice and I could help do that. That is,
Wow.
that's like pretty, what's the right word? Like that's very aware for a kid. Like that's really, I mean, you're right.
was really
Everyone is
tempted.
entitled to justice.
Yeah, I think in all fairness though, like this is the year that my mom and my birth father got a divorce, and so there was like a lengthy, this is not fun or funny, but there was like a lengthy custody battle and like visitation that lasted for years, this thing. And so I was maybe too aware of the pitfalls of the legal system when I was 9 years old. And
You're like
so
hyper
that's
aware
probably,
that lawyers are a thing anyway.
yeah, and so that's probably where this came from.
Did you have aspirations of being a lawyer or were you just interested in law?
I did. I thought I was going to be a lawyer. I had no, like writing was just like a fun little thing that I did because I wasn't good at math.
It's interesting that you both were into things that are really
like grown-up
lucrative
hobbies.
and adult and intellectual. Not that like writing can't be lucrative, but you know what I mean. From someone who's worked in books my whole life and like I am not, let's say, wealthy. I'm looking at these other like lawyers and like math people. I'm like, damn, those are the careers to go into. So it's funny that you both ended up as writers.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, as it turns out, ended up being pretty lucrative for us. But
yeah, for you. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think something that happens and something that I'm writing through a lot is the adultification of Black children, and about how like often we assume very adult positions within our families and our worlds, which is projected onto us, but also just like by design, we often end up parentified way earlier than we should.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where a lot of it comes from too. Like,
Absolutely.
It doesn't surprise me that like I sound this way in fourth grade, and that my characters, every single one of them, like it's the same. It's the same storyline almost every time, that like they're all taking on too much responsibility, and by the end of the book, they have to realize that like they are not supposed to carry these huge burdens on their own.
Yeah.
I'm like, obviously, I'm still processing some things out.
I feel like for a lot of writers, every character they write is like at least a little bit themselves, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, are you, by any chance, the eldest in your family?
You know, okay, so I am not. Technically, I'm the middle child in my family.
Same.
But there's a huge gap between me and my older siblings.
Same.
And so I was the oldest in the house
Interesting.
when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like you aren't the oldest, but you like were raised as the oldest,
Yes.
kind of.
Same.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
My older siblings were 11 and 14 years older than me. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And Leela and I are both eldest, so I feel like a lot of us were doing a lot of work in these households.
A lot of emotional labor.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
To this very day, and for the rest of my life. Let's get down to the bicycle.
That's my favorite part.
It is my favorite part, dude. It's so sweet. Riding bicycles, mainly because whenever I ride, I usually go with my brother. So you like riding because your so was this your older brother or a younger brother?
Yeah. So my older brother was 5 years older than me. And so I thought he was very, very cool when I was younger. And he was a BMX racer, and so he was the number one rookie in the country.
Whoa.
And
Okay, your
That's
instincts were right. He was very
played
cool.
with you. He hung out with you. That's pretty cool. He was like, "I'll show you my bike."
yeah. He taught me
that
how
is
to
really
jump
cool.
dirt ramps when I was like 8 years old.
Whoa,
so
Leah,
you're
are
a
you
cool
the coolest
girl.
person we've ever met? It's possible.
Well, I don't know how cool I am because I did try to like take up skateboarding again a couple years ago, and I did rupture my patellar tendon. So
Yeah.
some things I had to retire. But at the
Is that
time when I was in fourth grade.
Is a patellar tendon in your knee?
Yeah, it's the thing that kind of keeps your kneecap connected to your knee.
Ooh,
It holds your
that's
whole
important.
thing together.
Skateboarding,
Oh, yeah.
skateboarding, I fucked up the other thing that keeps your kneecap connected to your knee, the meniscus. You know, adult knees just can't withstand.
They're not designed for that.
They're not designed for it. Oh, that is so fucking cool. I also ride for exercise fun and for the heck of it. Like,
For the heck
boy
of it.
howdy, that is exactly why I ride my bike these days too.
For the heck of it. I mean,
Goddamn, that's so cute. These are the words I think describe me. Couch potato. I feel like a lot of kids have this trouble with the word potato, but
Yeah.
I get on
that E
the
is
end of
fucking
it.
me up.
Yeah.
To this day, that E fucks me up. Is
like,
it
well,
is it
toe is
ES? Like,
spelled
what
this
is
way.
it?
It's
But
because
toe
of the
is
plural,
spelled-
right? Because the
Right,
plural
yeah.
is, yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
also, like,
potato,
this is so.
yeah.
This text is so contradictory because why are you a lazy bum? Because you were just riding a bike in the previous paragraph.
She contains multitudes.
Explain yourself.
Some days are for exercise and some days are for couch potato.
Absolutely.
Right.
I think I'm cool because that's just my nature.
She said, "Get into it." Like,
I want to hang out with this kid. I'm a career babysitter. I've babysat my whole life, and I'm in my like mid 30s now, and that's a great kind of babysitter to be because people pay good money to have a babysitter in her 30s. Like I got 25 years experience babysitting or whatever, and that also means that I don't babysit bad kids anymore. Like I only babysit the cool ones, the ones who
Right.
are they don't have to be like very well behaved, but they have to be like smart and be able to like, you know, I have to vibe with them and like, damn, I would have babysat this kid.
Oh, yeah.
Good conversations. This girl that I babysit, this 8-year-old, I remember the first thing she ever said to me was, she, like I said, she's 8, and she said, "Hi, I read at an 8th grade reading level." And I was like, oh. She's like, she says really cool stuff out of nowhere. She's like, "Do you believe in God? I worship the goddess Bast. She's an Egyptian goddess." And I'm like, that's fucking cool.
Go off. That's amazing.
she's like staring at me. She's like, "Do you believe in God?" And I'm like, "Not
intense.
really." And she's like, "We don't either. We don't either." And I'm like, "Cool."
That's
She's
intense.
just really intense.
I do love an
Kids are
intense
so
kid.
funny.
They
Yeah.
are.
Kids are
You know what?
hilarious.
Why? I want to ask George a question. George, why do you write for young people? Because part of why I do it is because I think young people are just so fucking cool.
Yeah, part of why I write for young people is because they are really, really cool. I think like when I started doing school visits specifically, it was like they just were so tapped in and tuned into the world that exists around them. Language, like they really know language and they really understand those things. And I think also like I got to grow up, like I am 19 years older than the youngest grandchild. My cousin Kennedy, who's in college at Prairie View A&M in her senior year now, and
Period.
being able to grow up with her and like watching how she went to school and watching the books she read, because she was reading The Hate You Give, she read Dear Martin, she was reading these cool books in a way that like I never got to read, and I was like, that's kind of dope to be able to do that. And then like for her, she was in school like when like All Boys Are Blue came out, and so like she's watching her peers and like her queer classmates read this book, and she's like, well, you do know, like that's my cousin, and like
Oh my God, that's so cool.
you know. And so it was just like connecting those dots. And then I think even bigger than that, it was just like I just hate the books that kids are forced to read. Like when I thought about like reading lists just growing up, like it was always, you know, Catcher in the Rye, The Glass Menagerie,
Fucking
just
Great Gatsby.
Great Gatsby, like, you know, these
Come on.
what they consider these great American classics, but they never had characters that looked like us, felt like us, unless it was like a Raisin in the Sun or something like that, right? But it was like, I just wanted them to just have like a better outlook and understanding about like what their lives were going to be, in a sense. And so it just excites me to write for young people and young adults. And essentially it's like, I think it's us giving them the information that they need. I think when you look at even politics, like the geriatric nature of politics, it's like there isn't a passing of the torch. And so it's like, I don't want to be 60, 70 and All Boys on Blue is still the premier book for young queer people. It's like, I don't want that. And so it's like the best thing I can do is to keep writing books, to keep trying to inspire someone else to write the next one or the bigger one or the, you know, so I think that's why I write for young people. Yeah, because the world is truly theirs. Like I'm still here and I'm still out here and I'm active and I'm working and I'm fighting and I'm breaking barriers and systems. But at some point it becomes theirs. And so holding on to the knowledge and not giving it to them is just like a misstep in how liberation works. And it's just a misstep in how passing the torch should work. So, yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I mentioned earlier that I came across All Boys Aren't Blue because I've been reading banned books, and I actually read that with a banned book club that I'm doing with Goochland County Library because our Hanover library system is like one of the worst in the country for book challenges.
Yeah, All Boys Aren't Blue got banned in Hanover.
Yep, sure did. Well, we read it anyway.
Yeah, they got banned in Hanover.
The librarians are like, we cannot formally approve this, but you can sit here and talk about it. And my friend Mary Payton runs that book club, and she was on in October for Banned Books Week. And like, I feel like a lot of banned books, especially like banned books by queer authors about queer experiences, like that is like like giving knowledge to the youth that like people in older generations like yourself, I read your memoir, you had to figure out a lot on your own, you know, like I think like giving them that information is like so important. I have this book that I always recommend to people on my shelf called Loveless by Alice Oseman because it's like a fiction, and it's a good book, but it also kind of has like one, like, not, you know, this obviously isn't a real thing, but almost like one of every type of queer person. So for like a young queer to put a book like that in their hands and be like, see if any of this speaks to you, you know, like that can be so helpful. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for the work you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I think ultimately it's the work that me and Leah both do, you know, essentially with The books we write and the characters we write. And, you know, especially with There's Always Next Year, like this was just like important for both of us, I think, to like come together collaboratively with these very dynamic characters and community and showcase like, yeah, there could be hardships in a world and still have a happy ending. I think a lot of queer people just don't get to experience escapism. And I think even in the midst of everything that's going on with LGBTQ rights, like people still deserve a moment of escapism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even in like writing about the Harlem Renaissance, like that was one of their biggest fighting points. Was some of the writers really believed in escapism and some really believed in revolutionary texts. And I think it was important like now to understand that both exist. Like they both need to exist and they both need to complement each other, not be at odds with each other. And so I think this book brings both of that together because it does have a gentrification underline as well. And it does, you know, it talks about, you know, struggling and just the things. And so I think it's a perfect blend of just like what real life actually looks like.
Yeah, that's awesome. Does anyone have any final notes about this piece? The me I'd like others to see.
You can tell that the last paragraph was like added rather hastily, like after I had written the rest of it. I think I got to the end and was like, oh, I forgot to mention that I love the rest of my family. Let me just go ahead and plug that in.
It does look like it's even like maybe written in a different pencil, like
yes,
on a different day.
It's a little more spread out, like
yeah.
But I had to have a little mic drop moment. This is what I am. This is who I am. This is me.
This is me.
It kind of reminds me of last week's episode. We brought on one of my embarrassing songs from. I think it was recorded this year.
It was actually three weeks ago now.
It was okay.
By the time this comes out.
So true. Time. 3 weeks ago, and at the end of the song, it's a song. It's like kind of an angsty song, and then at the end it's like but it's all okay because you still love me, God, and I'm worth rescuing. and Christina's like, what the fuck is that about? And I'm like, well, the point is, because I had this music teacher at this time who like, you guys remember how angsty everybody was in, maybe not you, Leah, you were pretty young, but like in like 2004 2005 everyone was just like angst. And
I remember, honey, that was the birth of emo. It's like literally when we got Fall Out Boy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so my music teacher did not understand, and he was worried about me. And so he made me at the end of every single song have like a conclusion to show that, to tell everyone that I was okay. So like all of my songs are like have an edgy part, and then at the end, and it's like, but my family loves me, you know, like it's like it's just like you said, you're like, oh my God, I forgot to talk about how much I love my family. That's important to mention in every text. It's like,
but I don't know if you guys were raised particularly religious, but there's something about like evangelical culture. Oh, I could tell. So there's something about evangelical culture, especially in the early aughts, because I was in that. Okay, I'm listening to K-Love. I'm on that. Toby Mac. I'm in
Toby
that.
Mac.
And so, but every song was like, I'm a piece of shit. I deserve to die, but I live 'cause Jesus Christ. And so, like, that's very much the narrative in these songs. It's like, yeah, everything sucks and it's terrible, but my family loves me.
Yeah. It's like evangelical music doesn't allow really for room for there to be that level of angst. It's like, how dare you be so ungrateful? You're alive and God loves you, you know?
But they want you to be a little downtrodden.
Just a little.
Yeah, just like,
but
like
not so
humility,
not
but
too
not
downtrodden.
depression.
Yeah, not enough that it makes anyone uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
This is kind of, Leo, like you are writing an acceptance speech for an award, and you remembered at the end that your mom will get mad if you don't give her some credit, you know?
Right.
Like, oh yeah, and my family. This is super cute. I love it. We can roast the spelling and the word choice, but overall, this is like so powerful to look back on, especially with the kind of person you've grown to be. Like you said, like you obviously had a very clear sense of character. And I think that's
she was
fucking
very
cool.
locked in. She was locked into that thesaurus too.
Oh my God, who was it? Was it author Allie Gordon, Leela, who said that she was asked her parents for Christmas, can I please have a thesaurus? And they were like, honey, you don't have to wait for Christmas. We'll just get you a thesaurus.
You can get a really cheap thesaurus. Yeah.
So cute.
It's so sweet. Yeah, I love little baby Leah. I think that she is such a cool kid.
Cool kid.
Was such a cool kid. And I would have tried really hard to be friends with her, for sure.
That is so funny. Wow, thank you. She was precious. She was also a little bit insufferable, but that's okay.
I mean, weren't we
wasn't.
all?
That's like the thesis statement of this show is that we were all insufferable and wrote embarrassing things, but it's part of who we are now, and we've grown, or whatever.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't think our usual game that we play at the end of the episodes is remotely appropriate for this. A lot of our subject, okay, so like for context, Leela has a lot of songs. I have a lot of like lovesick poetry from high school. We read a lot of books like Twilight and shit. And so at the end of our show, we play a game called Horny, Sad, or Just Plain Bad. I don't think that this piece was this is a classic makes me glad.
Right.
Fourth option. Secret fourth option.
Fourth option makes me glad. Leah, is there anything else that you want to say about your piece before we wrap the show on up?
I don't think so. It's just so funny to, like, you don't often look back and with a critical eye to your previous selves. So it's cute to see who I was in fourth grade and how much of her still exists within me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it.
Hell yes. That's awesome. So, do y'all, this is random. How did y'all meet? Like, how did you come to be collaborating on this book together?
We actually met at a bar in Texas during the Texas Teen Book Festival, maybe a week before COVID, like, smacked the world.
Oh, like March 10th or whatever?
Yes,
I believe it was that
literally.
weekend. Yeah. Like, it was
Wow.
a
Yeah,
week.
and
It was
then-
literally a week before COVID shut down. Like, because March 17th is pretty much the date that everybody uses when everything shut down.
The reason I remember March 17th is because I worked in an office at that time, and one of my colleagues had like a pull-off calendar, and it stayed on March 17th for forever. We never went back to the office.
Never went back to the office,
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no,
eerie.
we met, we did meet right before COVID started. I remember I was supposed to be on a panel with Sarah Dessen, and I had
Wow.
hyped myself up so much. I was like, okay, Leah, don't be a fucking freak. Like, don't
Did you read
say
Sarah
anything
Dessen when you were
embarrassing.
younger?
I was obsessed. My
Same.
biggest drive for many years was like, I want to be the Black Sarah Dessen. And I was like, oh, this is going to be it. This is my big moment. And then she didn't come because of COVID. She was like, it's not looking safe.
Okay.
So
You
I'm gonna
can't
stay
blame
home.
her, but damn it.
And I was
Yeah.
literally, I was sitting at a bar with Nick Stone. We had a panel together, and this was our first time in person meeting. She's like a sister now. And I think Leah came in to that whole, because we all were in like the same hotel. And like, and that's how I think, like, which I feel like most authors end up initially meeting at the lobby bar.
Yeah. And I was like, are you Georgia
George
Johnson?
Johnson, yes.
And
Which again,
George
when I
was
saw
like,
Nick, I was like, "Are you Nick
Yes.
Stone?" Like, is she like, "Yeah," like, "Oh, like you're working on the book." She was like, "Some of us have been talking about this memoir you got coming out, like, because it was like a thing, like our books, and it's also like our books were like a thing that was like, because it was me and Leah just kind of talked about it. It was like me, Leah, I'm saying Felix ever after, but what's his name? Their name, excuse me.
Kaysen
Calendar.
Kaysen Calendar. A lot of C's.
And then Aiden. Times we
there
all
were
had
a lot of like
books, like, but
queer
our
people
books
of
were
color
like
releasing books together.
like the 4 books that everybody was like referring to at that time as like these 4 queer, like different story types of books that are coming out all around like a 3-month span of each other. They all did extremely well, and so
And then we
That
ended
is
up
so
doing
cool.
our first signings ever seated right next to each other, obviously, because we had the same last name.
So we had the same last name.
Oh my God,
then-
that's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was this girl in my high school whose name was, it still is, Christina Canoe. Kanu, like my exact name, only with the last N inverted to a U. And she and I were not friends. We went to a really big school, but we obviously knew of each other. Every time I randomly talked to her, she would always say, "Okay, bye. See you at standardized testing at the end of the year."
Right.
Because we just always sat right next to each other.
That's funny.
Oh, that's so fun. Oh my God.
And then,
So
of course,
how
we
did
have
you...
the same agent.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah.
helps.
Because I've been talking to her.
Well,
Yeah.
we're the same publicist, same agent. So yeah.
Wow. And
It all
so
happens now.
was it y'all's idea to write a book together, or is it something that your
It was
agent
Leah's idea,
recommended?
yes. Look, we gonna give credit where credit. It was Leah who brought the project to me, and it was like, of course, like I was like, yeah, of course I want to do this. Like, I was like, oh yeah, this sounds fun.
So did you each write one character's POV?
Yes.
So, you know what? Can I say I read a review today where somebody was like, it's so subversive that the male main character has a traditionally feminine name and the female main character has a traditionally male name. And they were like, oh man, it's so subversive, like really speaks to gender, like da 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 da. And I was like, were we thinking about that?
You know, it's so funny because we had a podcast recently, and the person kept the person kept referring to Dominique as a girl. And I found that very interesting, and we hadn't even had a chance to really talk about it yet. But that's funny that you just said that too, because I don't think sometimes you subconsciously write things, but it's funny because that thought actually crossed my mind the other day that like, oh, wait a minute, like Andy is more of a boy's name and Dominique is going to be assumed a girl's name, but it's actually the reverse in the book.
That's funny because I've only met one Dominique in my life, and he was a man.
Interesting.
I've only met female Dominiques.
That's so
there you
interesting.
go. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a name for everybody.
And I met both,
A real
but
gender neuter.
Yeah, I met both. But again, like my choice of the name Dominique comes from All Boys Aren't Blue, where I said like if I ever had the option to choose what my name would be, it would have been Dominique. Because I like Dominique Dawes, the gymnast, and Dominique Moceanu, the gymnast. That was like my thing.
It's a cool name.
Yeah. So yeah. So it is kind of, like you said, it is kind of subversive and kind of cool, like that we pick these names that traditionally go to the different genders. So.
Yeah. I can't remember why I said that, what that question was.
Yeah,
But
no, but yeah.
It's like that book by Sharon Draper. Was it Romiette and Julio?
yes. Yes.
Yeah. Way back in the day. Throwback.
I know that's right. No, because one thing about
Yeah, that's funny.
Miss Sharon, that's my auntie for real. I love Miss Sharon. I edited an anthology last year. Well, a couple years ago now, but it came out last year. And I was like putting out just like pie in the sky asks. I was like, oh, let's just see if we can get Sharon Draper. Let's just see if we can get Sharon Flake. Let's see if they respond. And both of the Sharons responded and they were like, yeah, I'll do it. And I was like, Miss Sharon, you have no idea, but your books changed my life. I read I read Romeo and Julio when I was in the 5th grade, and it was the most amazing book ever.
Oh my God, that's so
Being a
special.
writer is so funny.
That's cool. So your book has been out for one day when this comes out. Right now in the present, it's not out yet. You're right. That is weird. That's a weird time travel thing. Let's start with you, Leah. You want to let the listeners know where they can find you on the internet and where they can find your book and any other projects or things that they might be interested to know about.
Yes, you can find me on Instagram, Threads, etc. At by Leah Johnson. That's BY Leah Johnson. I also own an independent bookstore called Loudmouth Books in Indianapolis, Indiana, which specializes in banned and challenged books.
Oh my God, amazing.
If you are
That's
interested in diverse
freaking
stories, order your books from Loudmouth. We ship everywhere in the United States except for Alaska. No shade, Alaska. We love you.
It's just that you can't. It's so far away.
Right. And yeah, if you haven't gotten a chance yet, please pick up There's Always Next Year and preferably order it from your neighborhood independent bookstore.
Hell yeah. Yes, we've talked about this recently on the show, and I'm going to do it as a reminder that if you go to your neighborhood bookstore, your local bookstore, you ask them to order a book that, if let's say that they're not carrying a book, if you ask them to order it, they'll probably order extra copies to put on the shelf. And that can be like so helpful to the author. And then you can tell your friends, go buy this book by this author I like at this store. You're helping everyone, you know?
Exactly.
Yep. That is so dope. Thank you, Leah. George, what about you? Where can the people find you on the internet? What else are you working on these days?
Yeah, people can find me at I am GM Johnson. That's on Twitter. That's on Instagram. I think that's on Threads. It's on Blue Sky. Pretty much the same name across the board. And you can find me on Facebook still. George, but I use my full name, George Matthew Johnson. And then Garcon, because I'm in ballroom. So Garcon is usually my last name that shows up on most profiles. I'm in the house of Comme de Garçon. What am I working on? I'm working on my adult memoir, which is a continuation of All Boys Aren't Blue. That will be coming out next year, If I Die Before I Wait. And writing, because I have some proposals that I need to turn in January for some new books. And me and Leah are actively working on another book together. So,
oh my! No, okay, so you're freaking busy.
Yes, we are literally
moments ago.
We are actively working on the next book that will come out in this There's Always series, is what I'm calling it.
That is so freaking cool. Well, thank you so much. Congratulations on the book and on all your future stuff. Godspeed. That sounds really cool. You obviously are so busy.
Yes.
Can't wait to read the new book. And thank you so much to both of you for your time and your energy coming on the show. It means a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. This was so fun.
This is cool.
Yay.
And now
It's your turn next, George.
Yeah, send us some articles. We'll get you back for your next book release.
Yes, I will get y'all something that is terrible.
Awesome. Well, that's it for Burn Before Reading.
Until next week, remember,
your cringe is part of you,
but only a small part of you. And you know what? There's always next year.
Thanks for listening to Burn Before Reading.
Created by me, Christina Kahn.
Hosted and produced by Christina Kahn and me, Leela Hilton.
Logo designed by Michael Hardison. Follow him on Instagram at RoyGBivRVA or check out his work at wildlingpress.com.
Theme music by Sakura Wishes.
Find me online at Christina Kahn.
And find me at Leels for Reels.
Follow the podcast on Instagram and Tumblr at BurnBeforePod.
Or feel free to give us an email at burnbeforepod@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening, friends.
See you next time.
Dave X Media.